Hi guys, this is Athulya and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is pretty interesting and we are going to talk about our number one foe, that is the applicant tracking system. Now when you apply on posts on LinkedIn, you might have seen how many applicants are there for each post. And among those thousands of applicants, if you want your resume to be picked up, then you need to beat the ATS. Let's look at the tips and tricks which are going to help us do that. Before we start, you might be wondering as to how do I know about this? So as part of one of my life projects, I have worked in building an ATS for a company. And that is where I learned as to how it works. And it being a system or a program, we can definitely play around and beat it. So now let's get started. So what is an ATS? An ATS is a type of software which companies use to streamline their recruiting process. So what it essentially does is it screens through the applications, then it scans the resumes for the right qualifications, and ultimately picks up the candidates who are to be considered for the interview. Now, to beat an ATS, we need the right qualifications, the right keywords, and the right resume formatting. Now, we can optimize our resume in two ways, that is format and the content. So let's first talk about format. So the very first thing when it comes to format is your format has to be very simple to read and very basic in nature. So you can definitely find these basic templates online. And of course, these do not look very pretty, but it does the job really, really well. Now, if you ask me personally, what I like to do is, I like to make my resume in a simple Word doc and then finally save it as a PDF. And that has worked for me in the past. So I think for now, I'm gonna continue to do that. Like I said, it's a personal choice. Whatever you feel right, you may do that. But make sure your format is very simple and basic. The second thing is usage of standard font. Now, you can use Times New Roman, Arial, Calibri, and these sort of standard fonts. And the font size is ideally supposed to be between 10 to 12, definitely not more than that. And if you have a little extra information which you're not able to fit in your resume, then maybe you can go one size down, which is 9, but definitely not more than that. Now, another cool tip. Say, for example, your entire resume is in the font size 10 and there is one extra line which you're not able to fit inside your one page. What you can do is you can change the font size of all the punctuation, that is your full stops, your commas, and such things from 10 to 9. And you will be able to fit that one extra line in your resume. The next point under format is no complex formatting. Now, this is very important, so listen very carefully. An ATS is programmed to scan and parse through the text and text only. So what happens when you have a piece of complex formatting in your resume? It just causes some sort of a hindrance to the working of ATS, and finally, it will not pick up the important information which you wanted to pick up. So by complex formatting, what do I mean? Things like small icons, the tabular formatted resumes, or if you have put your qualifications or your degrees in a table, then if you have, say, a picture, or if you have those two column sort of a resume, all of these things are complex and it's better to avoid these. Now, I have also used these sort of things in the past, and I know this because I have used it and I did not get the results. And I have also worked on building an ATS. So say, for example, this resume is not going to clear ATS. This is also not going to clear ATS. And this is definitely not going to clear the ATS. Now, these are all the resumes which I have used in the past and made the mistake. So I'm making this video so that you don't make this mistake. Let me know in the comments below if you have columns or tables or any of these or a mix of these in your resumes. I would love to know that. Now, the second thing is content. The very first point here is usage of standard section headings like education, work experience or professional experience, career summary. I have seen fancy resumes which have headings like the Gurukul I went to learn, my life philosophy, where did I apply my knowledge. So these sort of headings, when you make the resume, you might find it really cool and very interesting, but it doesn't clear the ATS. So what is the point? Now, if you are applying for a creative position through a referral or by directly giving your resume to a recruiter, then you may consider these sort of things. But if you ask me, you can show your creativity in other things and not here. These days, another common thing which I have noticed is people theme their resume as per the company. Say for example, you are applying for Amazon. So how does an Amazon webpage look like? Your resume will look like that. So that is pretty interesting, but that works only if you are applying by directly giving your resume to a recruiter or through LinkedIn, wherein you are trying to get a referral. But if you are applying for a job post, it might not clear the ATS. So keep that in mind. The second point under content is usage of keywords, the right keywords. This is the most important thing, and I cannot stress over this more. The more keywords you have, better will be your resume ranked by the ATS. And your chances of getting that interview call would be higher. And that's what you need, right? So one way of doing this is to use the online tools which help you extracting the keywords from the job description. But if you ask me, what I like to do is, so if there is a post which I definitely don't want to miss and I want that interview call, what I'll do is I copy that job description to a Word file and then I start highlighting everything that I feel is important in yellow color. That is the first step. Next, what I do is I try to involve all of those highlighted keywords in my resume. And if I'm able to do that, I change its color from yellow to green. And once I have my personalized resume, I apply to the job post and then I wait for the interview call. And while I'm waiting, I also read about all of those highlighted words so that I have some sort of knowledge which they are expecting for that particular job post. And when I get the interview call, during the interview, I try and bring my conversation around those points so that it is more focused and they also feel that I am somebody who would be able to do the job. So it has helped me. So you can also try this. But again, this requires a little bit of effort and you cannot do this for every job post that you are applying. So that's when I would say quality over quantity. The third point is qualification and experience. Now, if your JD mentions that they need somebody who has done BTech and has 3 years of experience, try to bring these two things in your resume, that you have done BTech and you have 3+ years of experience. This is very important. Now, if your course name is BE, even then try to mention BTech somewhere in the resume so that when it is scanned through an ATS, it clears or it beats the ATS. This is very important. Now, this also depends on the advancement of the ATS, how advanced is the system that is being used by the company. So for example, if company is using a well advanced sort of a system, then BTech, BE, B.Tech or B.E. or full form, that is Bachelor of Technology or Bachelor of Engineering, all of this will be accepted. But if the system is not very advanced and if it is directly checking from the job description, then it's always better to Write exactly what is written in the JD. I know this is a little complicated, but again, this depends on the company that you're applying for. Most of the bigger organizations or larger organizations have very good ATS in place, but for a little smaller ones, this is how you can beat it. Now, if you are liking the content so far, do press the thumbs up button. That'll help me a lot. Now, next point is these are all to be considered if you're applying to a job post. Now, if you are getting a referral or you are giving your resume directly to a recruiter or the recruiter directly approached you, then you don't need to worry about all of this so much. But again, it's always better to have an ATS compliant resume. Also, if your company is very small, they might not have invested in an ATS, so you don't need to worry about all of this at all. I hope you are finding the content interesting. Now, let me give you a cool tip. When it comes to applying for jobs, see how many applicants are already there in the list, right? So if it is under 50 or under 20 or even below, definitely apply because your chances of getting the call is pretty high. But if there are more applicants, then sometimes what happens is the recruiter might have already shortlisted his or her candidates and your resume is not even going to the ATS because the shortlisting is already done and they might have forgotten to take down the job post. So this is also very common which happens. So you don't need to feel bad because you're not getting a call. This could be one of the reasons. So what you can do is have an ATS compliant resume and try and apply to every company as soon as the job post is live. So you need to constantly keep an eye on what all things are coming. I'm sure after watching this entire video, you might have understood that you need to take a lot of efforts to apply to one job. And trust me, that's gonna help you a lot. So when you apply with that intention of getting that call, you will take the efforts. And that's when you get that interview call. And ultimately, that is what we want, right? So if you like the content so far, do hit the thumbs up button. It'll definitely motivate me to create more content. With that, we come to an end to this video, and I hope you really liked the content. And let me know in the comments below what sort of content would you like to see so that I understand my audience better and I am able to make the content that is relevant to them. And this is very important because I respect your time. And if you are spending some time with me by watching my video, I definitely want to make sure that this was helpful and relevant to you. Now, if you find this sort of content helpful and if you feel any of your friends and family can be helped with this, definitely share and do subscribe to my channel for more such content. And that's all for today. Thank you for sticking with me till the end. This is Athulya Nair signing off. Ciao.